Hello, I'm AVX and welcome back to this video. Today to answer one of the big questions of Minecraft, especially lately, given all of the additions that are combining or merging or replacing other ones, and that is the actual versions of Minecraft and why they look so different. Because whenever you see a brand new version of Minecraft for the first time, like a lot of you might be right now, you might look at it and say like, what is going on here, Toycat? Do you have some weird filter applied? Like, why does your game look so different? But the truth is that there is just three very different editions of Minecraft that really claim to be the same game, but are really entirely different code bases and just kind of based on the same thing. There is Minecraft Console Edition for all consoles, there's Minecraft Java Edition, and there's Minecraft just called the Bedrock version, which is available on Xbox, PC, and Windows 10 and PE. And this essentially means that you get three different Minecrafts with three different appearances, and I want to talk about why they look so different in today's videos. Hopefully you all do enjoy this video. You can like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let's say you do like these kind of deeper explanations, because hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand it all, because there's one really big reason, but there's also lots of small reasons I think we should start with, and let's start with the very first of these small reasons, and that is the fact that each of these games is different, like I said, and therefore they have a different art direction, to each other. So even though they're all based on the same game, and they're all told like, oh yeah, plains biomes are green, and then, when you go to an extreme hills, it should be a slightly bluey green, the exact way they make these bluey greens and the exact way they make these bright greens is kind of decided by the teams themselves. And the reason they're decided differently is because not only is it different teams with different, I guess, design goals, but they're designing for different screens. So yeah, they're different versions of the game, all designed for different screens. The console edition is designed pretty much exclusively for, a living room TV. The Java edition is designed pretty much exclusively for your PC, and the Pocket Edition / Windows 10 version was mostly designed with phones in mind, which obviously have different brightness settings and different calibration. Basically, there's a whole bunch of different stuff you have to bear in mind, and that's why they might have chosen differently. Plus, there's different art directions from the teams, and then plus you've got to bear in mind, to make it even more confusing, each version of the game has changed over time slightly. Bear in mind the Java edition has had 3 separate appearances of the grass and the lava, and the grass and the lava actually look like they used to on the PC in the Minecraft Bedrock. Again, things get confusing, and that's because there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of changing, and all of these games are being developed kind of separately of each other. They come up and they meet and they make sure they're going in the right direction, but they're often doing things very differently, and that's why you get games which look like this, and that's why you get games which look like the Java version, or whatever version you're used to. They're very different because they're running on different platforms by different developers with different settings involved. So that different setting involved thing is actually the big reason that they look different. Like I said, there were some small reasons, and that's the development teams, the recommended platform, the fact that it's happening separately, and the big reason is actually to do with the way the brightness is actually handled. So if you don't know, on the PC and the PE, they both have a brightness slider, but they work in entirely different ways. On the PE, it's a brightness slider of 0 to 100, and on the PC, it's a brightness slider of like 0 to, I think it's like moody to like light or something. It's a confusing slider, and then on the console, to make things even more confusing, it actually doesn't have a brightness at all. It has something called gamma. So gamma works very differently to brightness, and I'll explain that in a second, but let me just quickly show you that the results are definitely stark, because by going up to 60, you can see how it looks a little bit more like you're used to. So yeah, let's now quickly talk about the brightness settings on the PC and the PE version, because again, if you've never seen this before, basically both those games have access to brightness sliders, and I'll show you a bit of gameplay from it, but you can see how for the most part, the game looks pretty much the same at 0 brightness or 100. The brightness mostly just affects like how dark caves can get. Do you want to see immediately dark caves, or do you want to see it be a more slow gradient? And most people run at high brightnesses for that reason, but it doesn't really affect the game, because the brightness is very, very well, I guess, calibrated on those games, and again, it's a brightness function, it's not a gamma function, which means its only purpose is just to make the game appear a little bit more brighter. And even though the scale is from a 0 to 100, it really doesn't operate like, oh yeah, 0 is no darkness at all, and 100 is all the light in the world, because that's not how the slider works at all. So both those games are different, and you can kind of see how they look pretty much the same with 0 or 100 brightness. However, the console edition, and the reason this looks so different, because again, so those two versions of the game have brightness sliders, but they're from different brightness values, and they look pretty similar once you adjust them to be the same brightness. It's just people don't usually run them at the same brightness. But then when we get to the console edition, this is where things get really crazy confusing. So yeah, the console edition, all of them, all 7 versions, actually don't have a brightness slider. They have a gamma slider, like I said before. So gamma and brightness, again, it might seem like it's the same thing, and most people use gamma like it is a brightness slider, but if you turn it all the way down or all the way up, you'll see it actually is entirely different. So the exact difference between them is something that's really hard to pin down to an exact science, but to give you the kind of briefness on it, basically gamma works by trying to get or authentic colors from one side to the other. It's like, you know, you can code the gamma, then you decode the gamma, and it's basically so you can get the right shades of gray or darkness, because if you've ever played Minecraft and you've noticed how darkness doesn't look black, it looks like gray, that's because your gamma is incorrectly configured, and it's a really big problem on living room TVs, the thing I mentioned earlier. So, because, you know, living room TVs are like configured for movies sometimes for TV, sometimes they're just badly configured because they think it'll look good. And because of that, if Minecraft wants to look vaguely similar, they have to have a gamma setting instead, so you can try and adjust to get the right sliding for yourself. So, usually by default, I believe it's set to 50, and this is the default value, which should look good on most TVs. And again, on the capture card right now, this should look about fine, I think. If I'm going to look at it right now just to confirm. As you can see, this looks about normal on the capture card, but on your TV, this 50 gamma might look terrible. And a lot of people change up their gamma really quickly because they go into a cave and it just doesn't look great. You can see it looks amazingly dark on the screen here. Oh, sorry, on the recording. But on my TV, it looks vastly different because gamma affects each TV differently. They kind of need to do this, and therefore having this gamma value allows you to really configure your own TV. However, to make it more configurable and to make it more fair for TVs that are bad at lighting or good at lighting or whatever in between, they basically have to give you way more power of it, which means the difference between 100 and 0 gamma is so stark. Like, just kind of show you exactly what I mean by that. Here is, here's 0 gamma again. As you can see, everything goes really dark because it's taking all the grays and making them as dark as humanly possible because your TV's just not interpreting properly. It's making them too bright. Whereas the opposite would be going to 100 gamma and taking all those dark grays, which should be dark gray, but your TV for some reason is just, basically it's making everything dark, the light grays even, and it's making them appear super bright. It gives it like a white sheen on the game, especially for me looking at my TV right now. But if you look at the capture, it's, on your screen right now, it doesn't look too bright, but on my TV it's like hurting my eyes a little bit, and on some people's TVs this just looks normal. So the reason you see so much Minecraft console gameplay looking like this is because people set their gamma to 100 thinking either I'll get an advantage or this is just what works on their TV because, bad TV or this or that. And because also bear in mind, you get a really good view on caves this way. This is the same cave I was just in that gamma, and it looks terrible, you could barely see things, but if you go into the cave 100 gamma, you can see things pretty well. And given that YouTube videos, sometimes you go in caves and you want your viewers to be able to see it, this is the big reason why most YouTubers have 100 gamma. That's why therefore most people who watch the videos turn up to 100, and that's why Minecraft console looks so different, because not only do they make subtle decisions about the coloring, but also because they include the gamma slider, which most users just set to 100 and forget. Again, I set to 80 and that's like lower than most. Because most users set their gamma to 100, it means that when you look around the world, it looks very different. It's got a white shine to it, and it means that everything on this version is bright, but not necessarily colorful bright, just bright, if that makes any sense. And that is why this version looks so different. It's the same extreme hill biome, it's the same plains biome, but it looks really different because it's got this huge gamma shine to it. And there is a fun fact you might not have known about why console editions look so different. So hopefully you did all enjoy this video. You can like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel, and lets know you do enjoy this sort of video. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see every one of these videos every time I upload them. I know things have been a little bit rough on YouTube lately, but I'm still uploading, and if you want to keep seeing them, then that's the best way to do so. So thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.